Make a healing appointment with self. Sit up straight. Take few moments of silence to be mentally available. Keep your feet grounded onto the floor. Sit with your open gestures, open arms. Take few deep breaths. Gently breathe in and slowly breathe out. Feel your body moving slowly up and down. Is it near your stomach? Is it near your diaphragm? Or is it near your nostril? Just be. No thoughts. Just feel yourself completely relax into the moment. And now, bring in the retrospect of this whole year's journey now that we are towards the end of 2019. Let us do a small retrospect of what happened at our workplace, what was most impactful, what were some of the most significant events in 2019 at your work, with your relationships, at home, with friends and family, with your colleagues and customers. What were some of the significant events with respect to your personal health and emotional well-being? What were some of the significant impacts? As we see the roller coaster of events, some positive and some not so good, let us look at 2020 with hope and newness. Let's breathe in and breathe out. Let's breathe out all the exhaustion of 2019 and let's breathe in to the freshness and newness of 2020 with hope and positivity. And let us congratulate ourselves to have taken out this 1 hour to make a healing appointment with self. Let's be mentally available 100% in this webinar. I would like to introduce Sister Deepa to us. Sister Deepa is a spiritual teacher, she's a motivational speaker, and a very seasoned facilitator. She's based out of Mumbai and she has dedicated her life to spiritual services for the past 30 years. She has conducted self-managing leadership workshops and other self-development workshops for executives in the industries like Reliance Industries, Larsen & Toubro, Bharat Petroleum, Hindustan Petroleum, Central Bank of India, Sterlite, Hidalgo, Jindal, and many more such organizations and industries. She has also conducted several workshops and programs at the national conferences and dialogues at Mount Abu for various wings like Business and Industry Wing, IT Wing. She is a trainer for Business and Industry Wing faculties.
As we are connected everywhere, so many participants connected through this webinar, we realize that connecting with people has become so easy. We are in different places, sitting in different environments, and yet we feel together in this webinar. And as we realize that connecting with people has become so easy, it is important for us to take this thought that connecting with myself also should be easier. And as I think Archana was helping us to take a journey through the whole year of 2019, and we realized that there have been some moments, many, many such moments in the whole year where we felt very happy with ourselves. The way we have responded to people, the way we have responded to situations, handled situations well, make things more easier for myself and for people around me in my family, work. And yet we find that maybe there could be some moments where now, as we were sitting and trying to reflect back, we found that we could have handled something better. And there were a few moments of reaction, yes. Reaction with our family, mm, those day to day little interactions where we have said something which has hurt some people, where we have felt hurt. Maybe at office also we felt that something could have been handled by us better. And when I'm with myself also, I found that I was always not in that state of emotional well being, happy being myself. And so, as I take a journey behind, I realize that there are some moments which I feel I would like to relive and change the way I've responded. And yes, we always have an opportunity because the present and future is always in my hands. And so, let's me take time to create that little moment with myself where I can, you know, check my own state of mind. Just like when we connect with people, we immediately talk to them and say, hello, how are you? And, we try to share those pleasantries, but also share that good feelings and good wishes for each other. Do I take time where I can just sit with myself, with comfort, with ease, in silence, and ask myself, how do I feel? Am I happy at this moment? Am I happy being myself? There's surely in this journey, there have been moments where I've experienced that happiness from outside. People have appreciated me, where I felt that things are moving okay. In the office, I've been appreciated, acknowledged, and maybe in my family also, people have shown their love, their concern for me. But when I sit back today and I'm with myself, am I happy being myself? Do I have that quality of unconditional love for my own self? We would like to be with people in our lives, spend those valuable moments with our friends, with our family members, with people whom we love. And when do I like to be with someone? Whom do I like to enjoy being? Where the time is timeless. I really don't remember also how much time is spent with that person. Time just flies. And mostly we'll find that we like to be with those people who first of all accept us as we are, who love us as we are, who have that unconditional acceptance for myself. And so, in the same way, when I'm with myself, let me check, do I love myself as I am? Do I appreciate myself as I am? Am I happy being myself today? Or is that thought always there in my mind? No, this is not right. I should have not said that. I should have not done this. And this is not so okay. I should be better. I'm not so effective. When I'm comparing myself with someone else, I feel that I'm not so good at this. I'm not sure whether I'll be able to do things like this in future. So maybe in our journey of life, we have learned to be more critical about myself. Where in a journey of trying to express things at the best, get perfection in my work, my activities, my relationships, I've always want to be perfect within. It's good. It's a very nice parameter which I should have for my work, for myself, for my health, for my relationships. But yet I should accept myself as I am and help myself in this beautiful journey to move to that level of perfection. Michelangelo, I remember, is a sculptor, and there's these words which have remained in my mind. It's when one of his admirers was sharing a lot of appreciation and praising him, very, very simply said, well, I don't create any beauty. The beauty is in the stone. The perfection is in the stone. What I, as a sculptor, do is I just remove the waste. And well, actually, it's simple. Each one of us has been filled with a lot of beauty within, a lot of divinity within, a lot of goodness within, a lot of virtues and qualities within, which in our journey of life, many times we use. And that's when we feel we are at our best. And that's when we find that at work also, we are able to deliver, we're able to create solutions, we're able to have that creative thinking, out of the box thinking, where people around me are also very inspired and happy working with me. Where in the family also there has been those moments where I've given happiness to each one of in the family, my life partner, my children, my parents, my siblings, and when with myself, enjoyed being myself at the moment. And so let me again go back to that goodness within me. Let me see myself as God sees me, as His creation. And as soon as I recognize that beauty within me, those virtues and qualities, at this moment, talk to yourself and just see those wonderful virtues, qualities which the divine has filled within you. Take a moment back. And on the screen of your life, see those moments where you've been able to give happiness to others in your family, at work, in different other areas of your life. Those values, those virtues, those qualities which the divine has filled within us, which some of them have used very beautifully and they've become my strengths. And so as soon as I see that goodness within myself, I feel so happy being myself. I appreciate myself. And with this awareness of what is good within me, then slowly and slowly I can move forward in a journey to encourage myself, to acknowledge and appreciate myself, and then also see those things which I could change. We've already gone through a retrospective in the whole year, and so now we've realized that there are some things which we could change. And so if I go back and see those moments where I felt I have not dealt with people rightly, maybe with my family, my parents, my life partner, my children, my siblings. And then as soon as I recognized that weakness which was working at that moment, which didn't allow me to be at my best, to give happiness, even though my intention was there, that little weakness which was working, which somewhere made me feel disturbed from within, irritated, and I reacted to that person. Maybe if I go back to my office, there have been moments where I've interacted with my colleagues and I've been working together, where there's been pressure, where maybe some colleague has not been so supportive. And that's a time when I've reacted, got upset, maybe said something which was a little harsh, maybe didn't give a very right facial expression. Maybe I didn't speak well about someone when that person was not there. And so at that time, what was the weakness working? What was that negative attitude or negative personality trait which I was using at that time? And so we find when we sit with ourselves, we see both these aspects. But our focus is on the goodness, the virtues and qualities which the Supreme has filled within me, because that's going to be the power on the basis of which I will be able to change these things. What is very beautifully taught to us by the Supreme Father, the Supreme Teacher, in our journey of being a student of Raj Yoga is that virtues are innate. They are my true treasure, my true qualities. They are my deepest inner core. That's what I am originally. And that's what I'm always attracted to. And weaknesses, however they could be dominant today in my personality, they are acquired. They've just come in my journey of life for some time till I've not been able to reconnect to my inner self. And so taking that healing appointment with myself is sitting with myself, talking to myself, and reconnecting with my inner core, where I recognize that these weaknesses have been acquired, but what am I truly, innately? I'm peace, I'm calmness, I'm lightness. And so maybe this anger has come. I am aggressive sometimes, I am irritated sometimes, but that's not what I am always. That's not my true nature. And so the more I'm focused on what I truly am, this awareness that I am this being of peace and light, I am peaceful, I'm happy, that helps me to overcome those negative feelings and emotions. What I tell myself is very important because I'm with myself 24/7. So actually, when I sit with myself, I need to remind myself of what I truly am rather than remind myself of those reactions or those negative feelings which I've created, maybe in situations of stress or challenging moments. I need to sit with myself, talk to myself, and say, well, whatever happened, maybe that was not right what I said or did, but what do I feel from within? What do I truly feel from within? When I see myself from within, I see that beautiful light within, that being of light, the child of the Supreme. And as soon as I visualize this beautiful light within me, where I, this being of light, is the master, is a child of the Supreme. And so as soon as I reconnect to this innate self, this pure self, I feel so happy and light. I feel so empowered. I feel so good about myself. And this feeling good about myself, where I start believing that I am peace, I am love, I am divinity, I am strength. This is my true nature. And so the more I keep reminding myself of this deepest core, my pure essence, the more I allow these thoughts and feelings to be created in my present. Otherwise, what happens when I'm sitting with myself? What do I remind myself? Oh, well, I should have not done that. I was not right at that time. This is not good. This is not what I should be saying or doing. I tried, but I can't change. Well, maybe that's my nature. Well, I'm always like that. Well, that's, the truth. That's the reality. And so if I keep telling that to myself, I'll find that I'm not happy being myself. And that frustration which is there, where I feel, no, it's not possible for me to change myself. It's not possible for me to work so hard within. I've tried many times to have those resolutions. Again, 2020, I'll try, but I'm not sure. I don't think so. I'll be able to, work with myself and continue with the spirit. I don't think things will change. Challenges will become more difficult, and it's always going to be the same. And so, this negative conversation, this negative self talk, which we keep having with ourselves, it's depleting, it's demotivating. And so, how do I start having that positive self talk with myself? I start appreciating myself every moment. I start, telling myself, yes, it's possible. Even if I have said something which is not so good, not so pleasant to my family at work, I forgive myself. I remind myself, and this is not what I want to do, and this is not what will be repeated. I have learned, I know that this is not me. My true self is very pure and beautiful. And as soon as I start forgiving myself and start believing in my own innate virtues, my own innate strength, my own innate goodness, then that's a time where I will create that hope within myself. And I will start responding differently to people and situations. To be able to love people, first I need to love myself. And to love myself, I have to have faith in myself. What I speak to myself is so important because I'm with myself 24 by 7. And so that's the energy which I'm giving myself. So if I keep telling myself that this is not going to happen, I have thought many times, I have, created those resolutions, but it doesn't work. I'm not able to change myself. My anger is too deep within me. It's my nature. Nothing is going to happen. I'll try, but I can't focus my mind. I'm not able to meditate. I'm not able to concentrate. I'm not able to change myself. If I constantly have that conversation with myself, what's the energy I'm giving myself? It's not the right energy. No, I don't feel happy. Now imagine there is a friend who has come to you, who's speaking in the same way, and he's telling you, oh, I have these resolutions for the next year, but I don't really think I'm able to do it. I have lots of anger. I want to change myself. I want to relax. I want to be peaceful. I want to be light, but it's not possible. I'm a very aggressive person. How will you respond to your friend? What will you tell your friend? You will immediately tell your friend, don't worry, everything will be fine. Once you have thought you would like to change, it will happen. They always say that with one step of courage, we invite multi-million fold help, support from the environment, from the universe, and from the divine. Himmat de bacha, everything is fine. So I need to keep reminding myself, strengthening my own courage, strengthening my own resolve. And then automatically the inspiration which I will take for the new year will be fulfilled. And so this positive self talk has to become a way of my natural thinking. Like today, thinking good about others and encouraging my friends and telling them that things will be fine has become a normal way of my interaction with my friends. As soon as my friend just talks to me or is chatting and saying, oh, it's not been a good day, I feel very low, I feel bad, immediately we say, well, don't worry, everything will be okay. Let's talk, let's share, let's go out and meet someone, maybe a common friend. Let's go out and spend some time on a cup of tea. We try to relax that friend. We try to divert the attention of that friend and refresh and make him feel more good. And so, in the same way, how can I do that to myself naturally throughout the day? So, every time I feel upset, I know I require to spend time with myself. I need to take that little moment to lovingly tell myself everything is fine. And in that moment, if I'm able to connect with someone who has unconditional love for me, who's always eternally available to me, who always sees me with a vision of goodness, and we find that there can be no one else better than the Supreme Father, our best friend, who always sees us with a vision of love, unlimited goodness, love, unconditional acceptance. He sees us as his creation, as his child. So, what does a parent see in the child? Always the goodness. And so, when I see myself with God's vision, God's eyes, I have so much more faith in myself. I have so much more hope in myself, and I can keep encouraging myself. So, the most beautiful relationship which I can have with myself is to be a very good friend. And that's when I can spend these little moments throughout the day to heal myself. In the Brahma Kumaris, throughout the day, every hour, we have a single minute, just a minute to take with ourselves, where we can create that little space of silence where I can talk lovingly to myself and guide my mind towards a fresh perspective, towards more hope, towards more courage, towards more happiness. And so this becomes a daily part of our daily routine. And maybe if you can take that little minute for yourself, a minute of silence, a minute of space for yourself, a beautiful drop of moment for yourself. And we find that many times people are not very happy being with themselves, and I've had many experiences where people say that when they are with themselves they feel very lonely, they feel very empty. And actually, when you say that you don't like silence or you don't like spending time with yourself, it's like telling yourself that you don't enjoy your own company. And that's not so good, no? That's not so, it's quite rude actually. And so, why do I do not like spending time in silence is when I'm unable to see those happy moments in my life. I'm unable to see that goodness within myself and unable to create that healing energy for myself. That's a moment when that silence becomes a little suffocating. And I feel, okay, now what should I be doing? Okay, I start looking outside and trying to again occupy myself in some work or maybe chatting with friends or maybe doing something else. And yet, it's so important for us to give that love and unconditional attention, unconditional acceptance to our own self and to heal ourselves. And many times you find that these feelings of you know frustration, hopelessness, restlessness, which are there within, deep within, they are disturbing us in the present. That's why we are not so comfortable with things happening around us always. So that restlessness and feeling of discomfort or feeling of frustration is so very well within us that as soon as in the outside something doesn't happen according to our plan, we immediately react. If someone says something to us which is a little unpleasant, we immediately react because we are not at calm, we are not so light and not so happy with ourselves. But as we spend this little moment every hour with ourselves, just a moment where we can enjoy that little moment of positive self-talk, where I can be my friend and very lovingly guide my mind towards a new thought, towards a fresh thought, towards a feeling which can comfort me, strengthen me, and forgive me, and then have that new thought or new fresh perspective towards the situation and towards the individual with whom I'm dealing with. And as soon as I lighten my mind and relax my mind, the other hour, the other time which now I'm ready for, I'm much more easy, I'm much more relaxed. So if things don't work well in that hour, if there is a crisis or there's a need of focus or there's a need of more tolerance in some relationship, or maybe there's a need of much more you know multitasking to be done, two three things coming up immediately, I'm available because I'm light and easy with myself. So spending that little moment with myself every hour becomes so joyful, becomes so meaningful. And it's most important that I have this very beautiful relationship with myself where I become my own friend and I love myself as I am. So important. As soon as you start becoming your own friend, you will be able to create moments where you will be able to tell yourself, don't worry, everything is fine. Now I will learn from this situation. I will be able to add value to my state of mind, and I will be able to now change the way I see the situation, the person, and so I will be able to renew my attitude and behave positively. So we find that little you know positive feeling and positive perspective change which I bring about in the way I see that person and see that situation helps me to respond differently. Mm. So being encouraging for myself is so important, being a constant mentor for myself, mm, where I'm constantly encouraging, mentoring myself towards self change, towards value addition for myself, towards becoming more happier, towards becoming more friendly, towards for myself and towards others. If I can be a good friend to myself, I'm sure I'm going to be able to be a good friend to others. If I can love myself and heal myself, I'm sure my presence or my interaction with others also, people feel more happy. People feel more light. People feel more relaxed in my presence, in my interaction with them. If I'm not able to heal my own state of mind, then it's going to be difficult for me to even spend few moments where I can comfort people. Even if I say something, the energy which reaches them will not be so comfortable, will not be so full of love or healing, because I'm not so happy with myself. So we find that when we interact with people or when we handle situations, it's our energy which is flowing towards people and situations. And so being happy with myself, enjoying being myself, constantly spending that little time healing those negative feelings and emotions which are sometimes there because of things which were not so pleasant throughout the day is so important. And as soon as I'm able to change my own energy within, my own state of feeling within, that lightness is restored, then automatically it becomes easy for me to do whatever is there in the routine. And I'm much more energized, I'm much more comfortable. Well, can we take a few moments to be with ourselves? Let's take a little moment with ourselves. I would request you to take this moment where you can just relax where you are. Take a moment and you become aware that this physical body, which is actually a very valuable instrument gifted to you by the Supreme Father, the physical being, the body being a very valuable vehicle. And I, the being of light, the master, the spiritual driver, through my mind's eye, I see this beautiful light shining between the forehead. This body belongs to me, and I, the being of light, is seated between the forehead. I am the one who is the master, who creates thoughts, feelings, emotions. Throughout the day, I am the one who is guiding my physical body towards action, towards response, towards interactions. And in this moment, as I choose to be with myself, I look within. In my own inner self, I connect to my deepest core, and I become aware of the calmness and silence within. I am a being of peace, a being of light. And as I feel this lightness and calmness within, I recognize that it is my true nature, my natural state of mind. Along with calmness, I feel the virtue of unlimited love, unconditional love, where my heart is full of good wishes for everyone whom I interact throughout the day. And I allow this love to flow towards my own self, where I appreciate myself as a beautiful being, playing different roles throughout the day. I congratulate myself to playing the role of a parent, a child, a sibling, and different roles in the family. where I'm able to share love, happiness, support people in the family. And now I shift my awareness to my office, and I congratulate myself for playing different roles there too, as a senior, as a colleague, as a team player, as a team leader sometimes, and using my virtues, my qualities, my strengths. I support the work, I support my friends, my teammates, I add value to them, and I'm able to get things done easily. I appreciate myself, and I'm happy that God has given me opportunity to use this goodness, virtue, strengths within me to give happiness in different areas of my life. I love myself as I am. I appreciate myself as I am. And I know that in this moment of silence, I become aware of some of those weaknesses which are also there in my personality. The little ego which is there sometimes becomes a means of giving unhappiness to others, creating conflict with people, a little anger, a little fear. And I know that these weaknesses are there. And I'm also in a journey of change. But I have confidence within myself that as I become more aware and I create those feelings of happiness, of positivity for myself, slowly and slowly I'll take steps towards overcoming these weaknesses. As I work with my virtues, these limitations, these gaps will be less and less. They become deactivated. I'm happy being myself. I thank God, the Supreme Father, for giving me this beautiful journey of life. Om Shanti. I feel relaxed. I'm happy. I truly am. Can I do this for maybe a minute or two? Every hour, every 2 hours? Yes. And maybe the conversation will be different. I will need new thoughts. But it's very beautiful if I can have this practice.
Okay.
Thank you very much for the opportunity that I could connect with all of you and share some of my feelings, some of my thoughts. We find that whenever we have self-respect, the question is, what's the difference between self-respect and ego? Whenever, there's a very beautiful thought in the spiritual study which we learn every day through in Raj Yoga. And this thought is very beautiful. It says that जहाँ स्वमान है वहाँ मान अपमान में समान रहेंगे. That is where there is self-respect. We are stable. Whether we are being praised, appreciated, or whether we are being criticized, we'll be stable. We'll be light. लेकिन जहाँ अभिमान होगा वहाँ मान स्वीकार करेंगे लेकिन अपमान सहन नहीं कर सकेंगे. Where there's ego, I will be able to accept, praise and appreciation. Say, well, yeah, I've done that. But as soon as someone criticizes me or tries to correct me, I can't bear that. I'll not be able to tolerate that. So where there's self-respect, I'm more stable, I'm more tolerant, I'm more easy. I'm going to accept appreciation and still remind myself, well, that is somewhere you know, the goodness which God has given me, I've used it, and support of many people. I will appreciate others also. I'll remind myself that it's been because of a lot of support which I've received from people around me. And even if I've been criticized, I will try to see some learning behind that. Well, there could be something which I could change. And maybe if that person who's criticizing me, he's influenced by maybe his ego or anger or maybe any other weakness, maybe a little bit of jealousy or something. So, okay, you know, I will have that openness and I will have that unconditional acceptance for that individual, and I will just take the learning behind his criticism and move ahead. And I'll forgive that person because I feel good about myself. I'm stable. I have self esteem. But if I have ego, I will not be able to bear any criticism or correction. So there'll be no learning. That's a major difference. And I feel I'll be very upset when people criticize me. Either I'll react with them or I'll feel very low about myself. So that's a major difference. Okay. Any other question?
Okay, so there is other question that I see that it says that, how do I remain calm and be self-appreciative at work? There is so much stress or conflict.
Yeah, I will have to stop in the midst of that work for a minute also and remind myself, tell myself that yes, I'm good and I've done it before. I've done so many good things. I've been able to achieve and I will do it again. I will have to give myself that boost of energy, that pep talk which we say. It's very, very important because if I don't do that to myself, then unknowingly I'm not recharging. It's like the body also needs some charging, it needs energy. So maybe I avoid maybe lunch, and I delay it, but somewhere around 3 or 4 I need to take maybe just a bite, maybe just a little sandwich, or maybe just drink some coffee or tea, because otherwise the body will not sustain its energy level. In the same way, the state of mind, I need to keep replenishing my state of mind. I need to keep lovingly hmm, giving myself this feeling that yes, I can do it. And so need to keep reminding myself of the potential which the Supreme has built within me. So it's very, very important. And if I can do that to myself, then I can surely do it to everyone around me. But if I don't have the habit of doing that to myself, well, fine, I'm not going to be able to appreciate people around me also. I'm not going to be able to give them enthusiasm also, to guide or mentor them, or maybe my children at home also. I'm not going to be able to do that. So I have to begin with myself. If I can do that to myself, I can do that to everyone around me. At work with my friends, my colleagues, at home with my children, my life partner, my other siblings.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, Sister Deepa. There are other questions also which
Yes,
were similar to this question. And as we are moving towards the closure of the time for this webinar, I
yes,
request all the participants to, reconnect over our next webinar, and we would try to address some of these questions. And they could also email us and we will try to address them. And the other way is they could reach out to any of our Raj Yoga centers in
yes.
various cities and get some of the in-depth conversations with the sisters there around their challenges.